Hey guys, week 7 discussion board here. So question 1 was, what is the American South? How do the fugitive agrarians define it? The fugitive agrarians define it as a return to Southern values and traditions. Um, it would get them back to the agrarian lifestyle, which was like the ideal thought of Southern identity. Um, and it was the removal of tradition, Southern heritage, and beliefs by modernity. Other than that, it was basically any stereotype really that you can think of as far as the South, and that's what kind of what I've gotten from it. Like a wrong is done, justice needs to be served. Really big religious base. Um, and the more you believe on one end of that spectrum, so if you're really religious and you're devout, then you're probably going to go to heaven and you're going to receive, everything you've ever wanted or whatever. And then if you don't, then you're going to go to hell and you're going to be, torn apart by imps for the rest of your eternity or whatever. Other than that, slavery is a large part of it. Significance of family, normal things like that, incest, um, just yeah, pretty much that. Sorry, it's like 11 o'clock at night. There's like dogs barking outside. Um, First podcast question was, can you go back to the old days, that like 30s, 40s, 50s, while leaving slavery behind? And I don't think you can. Slavery was such a large part of that era, that time, that it wouldn't be the same. It would just be white people doing white people stuff. Um, I don't think that's anything that anybody would really care to read about. Not saying slavery was a good thing, but it's a large piece of history, and you just can't go back to something and leave that large of a part of it out. It defines what America is, and I don't think you can, no matter what genre you're talking about. Podcast question 2: can you write about rural South without living there? Yes, I think you can. You can write about anything as long as you have the time to do the research and the drive to succeed at what you're doing. Um, that's pretty much any research paper. You don't know anything going into it usually, and you come out of it with an understanding, and sometimes it leads you to learn more about that. That's just my opinion on it. I think it's a good one. Okay, so question 2 in the prompt was, what interpretation did you find most interesting about A Good Man is Hard to Find by Flannery O'Connor? Um, I found it really interesting that Flannery O'Connor, a woman, mind you, in that era, I think the book came out in 55, was writing about with such um, violent themes. In the story, the misfit, who's an escaped murderer who proclaims that he did not kill his father, but that's the reason he's in jail. Escapes from prison, and then a family who's on a road trip's car flips over, and their mother's hurt, and their car is obviously unusable. Um, they wait and wait, and then a car comes down the dirt road they're on, and it's the misfit and it's either the misfit and two other gentlemen, or it's the misfit and three other gentlemen. I think it's the misfit and two other gentlemen. And the grandmother recognizes him, and she pretty much seals their fate. The little posse kills the men, and then they come back, and the grandmother tries to plead with him and kind of find some middle ground. And they go and they start talking about Jesus, and the misfit starts talking about his doubts of what Jesus could actually do. And the grandmother starts talking to him and starts kind of trying to relate with him, and she reaches out her hand and touches him, and he freaks out and shoots her, kills her, and then they kill the rest of the family. But the second part of the question was, how does O'Connor bring forward the theme of salvation for the misfit and/or the grandmother? I think she brings forward that theme by the killing of the grandmother, because the grandmother's obviously religious, and so her death and her trying to relate with this man, in my mind, sends her to heaven and her family to heaven. The family is not what he asked about, so which would be her salvation. And then at the very end of the book, the misfit it says here, the story ends with the misfit chastising one of his sidekicks for claiming that the family's murder was good fun. The misfit tells him to shut up and that it is no real pleasure. It's no real pleasure in life. And so that leads me to believe that the misfit may never find salvation, and he might not even. The way it sounds to me, I could be wrong. I could be interpreting this wrong. The misfit might even be dead. Like, he might be in hell, like his own personal hell. So life is over for him. Anyway, that's just my viewpoint on it. I've read a couple summaries of Flannery O'Connor's books, and they sound crazy. I'll probably pick one up and actually read it cover to cover and see if I still, agree with that. But pretty crazy stuff. Especially the Angelica Houston movie that was made in like '96, a Bastard of Carolina or something like that. Crazy. And then before I go, I just wanted to touch on this. I didn't know that Southern literature was a thing. I didn't know if, I've lived in Alaska all my life, so I didn't know if maybe there's Northern literature, I just never knew it. But anyway, I've read quite a few Cormac McCarthy books, No Country for Old Men, The Road, All the Pretty Horses, and I never put it together, I guess. My mom loves John Grisham. I've heard of William Faulkner. I've heard of him a lot, actually. I've heard a lot of things. And then I've heard Truman Capote, and so I guess I just never put it together. But I was just wondering if you guys had read any books that fit into the genre. Alright, thanks, look forward to reading your discussions. Have a great day.